You better lose yourself in the beef sticks, the podcast. You know we got the best. Stick it in your ass, boys. It is hard times to be murdered by at Beef Sticks Podcast.
Yes, indeed it is. It is the eve post the release of Eminem's surprising 11th studio album. 11 studio albums. And the best thing he's still done is Infinite.
Oh, that's harsh.
I love Eminem. Don't get me wrong. I
Marshall Mathers LP is a 5-mic album. Come on, there's not a bad cut on it. There's not a bad cut on it.
I get that, but he has never been as hip hop as he was on Infinite, and to me it's something.
No, what about that Trump freestyle? That was pretty hip hop.
That was.
We
liked that.
He got a lot
of hate for that. It was good.
He did.
Well, the funny thing is, like, back in the day of the Eminem show, if Trump was president then, he would have been a Trump supporter. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to say what I want to say and do what I want to do, and fuck you if you don't like it. That sounds like a Trump supporter to me in 2020.
Yeah, but a lot of people were before they realized that he was serious about his fucking insanity.
Yeah. Oh.
Even I was like, I'm not going to vote for him, but he'll be fun if he becomes president. Whoa! Shit, was I wrong?
Yeah, I
ass.
definitely remember saying something along the lines of, at least the next 8 years won't be boring. I wasn't proven wrong.
You weren't wrong, but
sometimes I wish it would slow down.
Yeah, just a bit.
Colbert can't keep up.
But enough about the TRUMP. We're talking about the QUA-Latees, baby.
Yes, that's right. Qualities T-shirt company of Wilmer, Minnesota, owned and operated by my good friend, that dude Saint, and he wants to put a shirt on you. Bringing you the finest in custom qualities, custom tees, sublimation, with features from Heat Viner. Yes, Heat Viner. That's my new rap name.
Nothing's finer than Heat Viner.
Heat transfer vinyl and decals, special gifts, shirts for any occasion. You got a sports team? He's got you covered. You got a band? He's got you covered. You got nipples? He'll cover them up too. It's up to you. But you got to get on down to Qualities. Let him know that Paisley sent you. He'll take care of you real nice. As will my friend Corey Matthews at Monster Wear Clothing. Bringing you all the best, finest graphics work and quality merchandising for all your small runner bulk orders on decals, stickers, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, glassware, jerseys, and many, many other types and styles of fabrics, Fat Mac. Along with custom graphics and logo design services offered, Monster Wear Clothing has got your back. Wear Qualities has got your front. And together, it's a perfect team. Brought to you by B6 Podcast.
And if you were to skip out on these two, it would be an utter sin.
Yes, indeed.
And speaking of sin, that kind of brings us to This Week in Pro Wrestling History, Pasty.
This Week in Pro Wrestling History!
Because WCW presented their Sin pay-per-view on January 14th, 2001. The show was originally intended to be the first pay-per-view of a brand new era, Pasty. This would have been the Fusient Media Ventures era. That was the company working through Eric Bischoff that had agreed in principle to buy WCW on January 11th, when Turner was trying to get rid of it. It just so happened the sale came on the exact same day of the AOL Time Warner merger, the infamous merger. And during the due diligence period, new Turner programming president Jamie Kellner pulled the rug out from under them, and he ended up canceling all WCW programming that day. So, needless to say, with no television to promote future events, WCW became virtually worthless almost overnight, Pasty. Fusient pulled out of the deal, obviously, and with no TV future on the horizon, and despite WCW performing in the top 10% compared to most cable shows, which is huge, WCW folds when the WWF buys them 2 months later.
I got to point out here, right from the top of the story, Sin is probably the stupidest name for a pay-per-view I've ever heard in my life.
Have you heard of Great Balls of Fire, Pasty?
Yes, but that's more words and sounds like the title of something, Fat Mac.
I'll give you that.
What about original sin? Add one more word and you got it.
Or the 7 sins or deadly sins. I hear you.
Yeah, obviously, they didn't have Vince Russo on the team at this time.
To be fair, it's probably good marketing with having it that small, but as far as just graphically, not as far as saying it. I agree with you. But Pacey, the thing is, that isn't even what the show's known for. That huge event. No, that distinction goes to Sid Vicious, who snapped his leg in 2 places after the big man went off the second rope for a big boot.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the shit out of that many times.
It hurts every time I watch it. Every time I watch it, it hurts. The match was a 4 corners match with Sid, Jeff Jarrett, Road Warrior Animal, and defending WCW World Champion Scott Steiner, who retained his belt in this match.
So they all had to touch the 4 corners while strapped together like The Fiend and Daniel Bryan are probably going to be at Royal Rumble?
We don't know. But the injury was not shown live. Whew! Thank heavens. We never have to actually visually see it. It wasn't shown live on the pay-per-view, Pasty.
Oh.
Because they had cut to a segment where the Mystery Man Animal entered the bout. Oh, wait. But footage was later aired on the next night on Nitro. WCW couldn't let this go without cashing in on it.
Well, I mean, Vince would have done the same thing. He would have hit the replay like 17 times and had him slow it down. It's such good shit, pal.
Yeah, in fact, Scott Steiner ended up using that in his character, talking about how he snapped Sid Vicious's leg. Even though they showed multiple times it snapped while he jumped off the top rope, he still used that to his gimmick, which is another reason I love Scott Steiner.
A little bit of Steiner math.
Oh,
and you can rationalize anything.
Sid would end up suing WCW for lost wages and damages in relation to the injury. Sid claimed he was asked to perform the move against his will, and when he got hurt, his salary was cut. But in the end, Sid lost the lawsuit.
Sid didn't want to do a big boot from the top rope. Brock Lesnar wanted to do a shooting star press from the top rope. It's just funny.
It's what it is. It's like it's like some crazy Saturday morning cartoon world that we live in with Sid Vicious, Road Warrior Animal, Cobra Commander, Pokemon. We don't know what's going on.
No, we don't. Well, I think that's a good time to get into this week's Token JRR, and longtime listeners will be like, what's going on, guys? This is not JR. But as we had been talking about in the last couple of weeks prior, we're going to expand the topic. So let's get your goose loose with a little Bruce.
Well, is Cobra Commander a real former Burnham Snave? It's whatever the fuck he's doing, man. Because he could be an alien from like Pokemon or something like that. Yeah, I just blew your fucking mind, didn't I?
Yeah. I just blew your fucking mind, didn't I? I love it. And if I would have listened to the clip before the show started, I would have got your hint.
That's all right.
The one fucking week I don't, you pitch me something and I miss it completely.
I pitched you an easy one.
Yeah, there was almost no point for me to press the button, to be honest.
I love it, though. I love it. Good old Bruce. He may not be as absent-minded as JR, but that's a fun one.
Yeah.
That's Fernan Schnavis, Cobra Commander, Pokemon. It's
I can tell you, I've played a lot of Pokemon games. I've never once caught a Cobra Commander.
Or a Fernan Schnaven.
No.
Oh, good stuff. And we all know, Pacey, that Pokemon, they pass out. They faint. They go to a Pokemon center. Pokemon are really hard to kill.
They are very hard to kill, and you know what? So is Impact Wrestling. And in a couple of cases, it seemed like they were trying to kill themselves at this event. But we'll get into that as we break it on down.
Break it on down to the other side.
I actually tuned into this one. I normally say I'm going to, and then I don't. This one I didn't say I was going to, but I did. And
And it was fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad by no means. I definitely don't regret watching it like I have some other things.
I'm just still coming off of Wrestle Kingdom, and it's hard to watch anything and not be able to directly compare it to it.
That's going to screw every pay-per-view going forward. It's really... You almost have to put it in its own... You gotta lock it up in a capsule and just say, okay, so we realized this was Wrestle Kingdom. Now we got to talk about pay-per-views, not Wrestle Kingdom. Because... This definitely wasn't Wrestle Kingdom.
No, but it was
good
pay-per-view. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's some very fun moments in this. There was some shit that I was like, why is this even happening? And then we had the main event, which was everything I think everybody could possibly have hoped for. So.
Depending on who you talk to, but I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
So, moving right along, I guess, Pace, let's just hop right into it. We had Ken Shamrock defeating Madman Fulton.
I knew he would.
You did know he would. You got the first point of the night. We clocked in at 9 minutes, 19 seconds. Probably about the perfect time for this one. Shamrock, at least in my mind, he's still carrying some ring rust or old age or both. I can't tell exactly what it was.
He definitely looked like he got real tired real fast.
I also don't think these two... Good. Oh, no, he looks amazing.
And when he does move, he does things well.
He does. I felt like these two didn't have chemistry together. The in-ring storytelling, I think, would have played better also if Shamrock was a heel. Because for the most part, Shamrock was in control and Fulton was fighting underneath to survive. And I just really felt like that should be the heel to the face, not the face to the heel. That kind of screwed it up for me. Not a bad match. I think the worst match on the card, but Fulton is growing. He's still green, but he's growing. And Shamrock, obviously, again, is past his prime. So I think it was good for what it was.
Yeah. I missed Ken Shamrock's last match with Impact. And so it was definitely good to see him in this one.
Well, let me say this, Pasty. If you've seen Ken Shamrock versus Moose at Bound for Glory, you would have thought that this should have been on Wrestle Kingdom. So I'll give him that. I will fucking give him that.
Good. Well, maybe the next one will be everything we hope for. Because I don't think he's done giving what he has to offer yet. The dude is still in amazing, impeccable shape.
And he has passion. I won't take that away from him. He has the passion.
I just think it's funny a guy with like 0% body fat like Ken Shamrock gets winded so quickly.
Well, they say muscle is heavier than fat. And if you're not working on your cardio and you're just working on bulk, that doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You look training for a wrestling match.
Well, you look at somebody like Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg, they said he'd get blown up after 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
He looked like $1 million, but he never had to wrestle a long match, so he never worked on that cardio,
Yeah.
So
I feel like Goldberg has a lot more to carry around than Shamrock does. Frame-wise?
I guess I don't know. I'd have to check their stats.
Yeah.
But I will say this.
Saudi Arabia, Ken Shamrock versus Bill Goldberg.
What I will say, though, is Ken Shamrock being a former MMA fighter should have better cardio than Bill Goldberg being a former football player who only has to work in spurts, where Shamrock did have to go the distance. He should know about cardio workout. I'll give him that. Or I'll take that away from him. Whatever I'm trying to say.
You'll do both.
Whatever I'm saying, that's what I'm doing.
Indian giving, that's what it is.
That's racist. Speaking of racist, next up we had the X Division Championship. The White Ace Austin beat the Hispanic Trey Miguel. What's up with that?
I don't know, man. This was a match. Trying to remember any highlighted spots. I didn't write anything down.
This was a good match, I thought. Came in at 13 minutes, and again, not again. I think this one could have been less. I think if you would have knocked this one at just about 10 minutes, like the Shamrock Fulton one, it would have been better. I usually say Cruiserweight X Division, give them longer. But
Miguel of the Little Rascals. It's all coming back to me now. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, there you
Ace
go.
Austin totally should have made out with Trey's mom after he beat him. That's where I thought it was going, and that would have been amazing work.
he was working her over.
And then like next